In 2002, this is from, Lawrence McNamara, Lakeside Drive. In 2002, Flagler Drive was completely redone from the roadbed up. It was silky smooth. 12 years later, it resembled a mottled washboard. This commission wants to put us in 30 years, $63 million debt for work that will last for 12 years only. Next Tuesday, vote against this irresponsible waste of taxpayer dollars. Peter Tim, followed by Loretta Sharp.
Yes, Peter Tim, and I too am against this project, not because I don't want our streets fixed, I do want them fixed. However, I don't feel I should be paying 3/4 of the bill for it. I think everybody should have to pay for this. Everybody who uses something should pay for it, where you people only want to put the blame on the people who have a higher tax rate. You're going to take more from them. You are fighting the hand that feeds you, because their regular ad valorem taxes are now running whatever part of the city we are under, and now you're going to bite their hand and take money away from them again. And this is wrong. We must do this, and a better way to do this is to put it on the non-ad valorem. You said we can't do that. Why not? We have our garbage on there. If our garbage can go on there, so too, if you go to work, you can convince them to put this on, because this is something that everybody in Lakewood uses. But the idea is you have got to go to work to do it, rather than just say, this is the only thing we can do. It is not acceptable to me, and it shouldn't be acceptable to the rest of the people of Lakewood. Thank you.
Thank you. Loretta Sharp, followed by Joanne Kelly.
Well, I'm sorry. I think that we are up to and above Hollywood with the 2020 plan. We're going to not only fix the streets, we're going to fix the sidewalks, we're going to put in fire hydrants, we're going to put in water pipes, we're going to put in sewers. So I think that we are above what Hollywood is doing. And I'm very much for it. And I wish that, and I know I can't speak to him, but Madam Mayor, I wish that Krista from the board, Commissioner of the board, would read the 2020 plan from beginning to end. Read all the studies that we paid for, all the consultants that we hired, that he voted for. That he voted for the consultants that we hired. And he would read them and see what they recommended. They are is knowledgeable, if not more, than the planners in Hollywood, Florida.
Direct it to me, please, Ms. Sharp.
I am looking at you.
Okay.
If we fail, next Tuesday, a week from today, if you choose fail, go with what you got. Patch more holes. Don't fix the sidewalks. Don't fix the water pipes, because you don't have the money to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Joanne Kelly?
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I hope I can interest you in improving our website on its recycling directives. Our refuse department picks up the contents of the container, and then it's all sorted out at the Pembroke Pines Waste Management Recycling. South Palm Park Neighborhood Association and several people are here who went on a very eye and nose opening tour of that facility and saw how this is done. People with gloves and masks, machines that separate the paper from cans, bottles, engine blocks, batteries, electric Christmas lights, all tangled up, plastic bags being the worst. We learned lots from that trip, and especially that plastic bags are poison, seeing them all tangled up in the machinery and causing shutdowns. Being in New Orleans recently, visiting our 2-month-old granddaughter, my son's recycling bin was stolen. In trying to replace his recycling container, I discovered NOLA's website on recycling. The directions are so clear. New Orleans beats us in 2 things: potholes and their recycling system instructions. Take a look at their website, go to NOLA.gov, sanitation, recycling, sort for curbside pickup. Then look at our website info. Besides the bland general paragraph, there is an unreadable list on the top of our containers, mostly worn off because the top of the can slipped back and hit that spot. We can do better in getting a more explicit list of acceptable and non-acceptable, like electric lights, plastic bags, political signs. Shiraz at Waste Management would help us draw up a clearer list, and a field trip for all of you, if not New Orleans, then Pembroke Pines. I urge you to help make our recycling information better, or tell me who to contact in the city. With more explicit info, we could recycle more efficiently, and get more compensation for our efforts.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Is that all the cards? Okay. Commissioner comments, Commissioner Amoruso?
Joanne, I'd like to take the lead on this. I've already been working with Jamie Brown trying to take our recycling to the next level. I worked with Joe Kroll. Originally, if you remember, we used to pay to have our recycling taken away. Now we actually get paid to bring it in, but I'd like to maybe get with you and work. I too have visited multiple plants, and like you said, plastic bag is the worst thing because it actually shuts everything down. And so I'd like to see what your thoughts and ideas are, maybe take the lead. Like I said, I met with Jamie Brown again this week. I'm talking also to the downtown merchants and with Jamie trying to get some kind of recycle bins into the bars and restaurants because all those bottles go to waste. And you know, a lot of people, you physically have to have it there and teach them. And maybe with your direction and your thoughts, we can actually put together some more information, an informational piece. I could possibly find funding through the downtown merchants for that, and then also take it and maybe put a blip in our newsletter, you know, just more of an education process, or educating again, maybe reminding people. There's also a new woman downtown, I call her the butt lady. She picks up cigarette butts. And there's actually a program that she is picking up the cigarette butts and she's trying to get the word out. Because if you look, there's lots and lots of cigarette butts downtown. And we put out containers, they've been stolen, and there's just a lot going on. She picks them up, and when she gets a full container, she sends them and they actually do something with them. So, you know, if we can incorporate also some recycling cans in the downtown, but again, we have to find funding sources for those. So I'd be interested in getting with you and with Jamie Brown and taking it all to the next level.
Look at the NOLA website.
Absolutely.
See what I mean.
Great, thank you.
I'm anxious to look at that now. Okay, any other commissioner comments? Commissioner McCoy?
That's it. Thank you, Joanne, for calling our attention to this. I think we can do better, and I'm very glad that Commissioner Amoroso is active with that also. Once we get that part of it going, we might want to look at some of the other cities, San Francisco, I think I've mentioned up here before, that do recycling of compostable materials from the downtown, from restaurants. I believe that San Francisco did it and worked out it in such a way that, again, you've got value in that compostable material that you are paying for if you're a restaurant owner to dispose of. If somebody can actually use it, compost it, turn it into something useful, that's a good thing. And we have a lot of restaurants downtown. So that might be an additional thing. In response a little bit to some of the comments on the bond issue, I appreciate Ms. Sharp's comments that we're ahead of Hollywood and I guess by implication Fort Lauderdale. I have to say that when you look at the materials and the level of detail, the level of spelling out what we're going to do, unfortunately, we're just not there in any way, shape, or form as far as being at the same level.
May I ask the city attorney a question? I just want to make sure too, in response from all the commissioners' responses to some of the things that were made, as commissions, you know, as a commissioner, we can't advocate for or against. So in our response to some of these comments that are made today, should we refrain from commenting on them? Because I mean, wouldn't you be advocating for or against if you're answering a question in either a negative or a positive manner?
I'm not sure that anyone's violated
No, before, I just wanna, in case anybody does want to, I just wanna make sure.
I trust the city attorney will,
But people can
No.
still give you personal, everybody has their First Amendment rights and talk about.
Okay, just wanted to just double check, okay. Please continue, I just wanted to check.
I think, thank you, I appreciate that, Mayor. I don't know the details of Flagler Avenue, I do remember it being redone. I think the concept, whether it applies in Lake Worth or not, but the concept that we should be explicitly, as we plan infrastructure that's very expensive and has a long life to it, under normal circumstances, we should very explicitly be laying out for people how we're planning that in relation to changing conditions, both weather and sea level, and tides and all that stuff that comes with it. I personally do not have any problem with us, I'm very much in favor of working on our city. I have no problem with us funding it. My difficulty is, I don't think we're ready yet. I don't think we've done the homework of laying out the details and doing our good job of making ourselves ready for the things that we know are out there. So, that's my concern.
Vice Mayor? No? Commissioners ready?
Thank you, ma'am. Also, Joanne, that's great. I think one of the first things that happened here when I was coming back to the city was we did the Eco Centers building here. That was our first commercial building. We did not have a dumpster. We worked with the city staff here, and we have recycling bins there for commercial building for the first ones, along with some other normal waste that comes on building. So they started that initiative and it could continue in the downtown areas because that really was something that has been successful there. They still don't have a dumpster. As far as some of the things that are going on, and even from the seminar that I did go to, which was really important, it had some of the folks there that were the foremost leaders in the United States at this seminar, the seminar in Boston. And so the reason I went there is I wanted to see, what level of expertise is out there and what are they doing. I also would urge all the commissioners here to spend a couple of hours as and maybe you have, I don't know, but I did with our advisor CDM. And CDM has been including sea level rise in their designing and planning for the last year and a half. As a matter of fact, they've been studying the precipitation patterns, stormwater plan they have in action already. We've talked about different recharge wells that are being considered. In fact, we looked at adding, of course, the 3 wells to help us be more resilient. Those recharge wells could reduce the amount of infiltration contaminants in a superficial well from like 150 parts per million. So spend some time with them. We also talked about different types of bioswales and things that are incorporated, especially in the Batwell Road project. Those are also being incorporated into that project, and so are underground retention ponds as a consideration, but those are pretty expensive things to do. We're looking at the relationship between some vacant lots that are out there and the ability to maybe capture some local flooding issues that are really not, again, like you said, Commissioner Boyd, related to the edge, to the sea. And so we are also installing a number of baffle boxes in areas, which you saw some pictures up there, some little concrete boxes, as well as some backflow pressure reliefs that are going in where we discharge into the intercoastal to try to reduce some of that before it also goes into the intercoastal. So what I got out of this was the fact that as a city, and we spent time also with our county utilities director here too. I think we were there for about an hour or so. And as a gauge, I would say that we're doing as much as any other cities in Palm Beach County. And as far as a gauge on a national level, the information that we're handling is at the same realm within the means that our city has at our disposal right now. The things that we're doing that they thought were also more important was the combination of putting in your infrastructure at the same time that you're being more holistic with dealing with drainage issues too on your roads and dealing with the sidewalks. It's not just potholes, but I've had standing water at my house where I think a tadpole cultivator there, and they actually grow since they're so long. So I would say from my perspective, from going to different parts of the country and different parts of the county, that our planning department here, as well as our engineering department, is looking ahead pretty well, and those are incorporated into the 2020 plan at this time.
Commissioner Burscombe? You're good. I would like to say that we're all, probably in regards to that issue, on very similar pages. I feel very privileged that I have you, Commissioner Boy, and you, Commissioner Zerdy, in regards to having knowledge on those issues. I also know that everything that has been put into plans or whatever is, we're bringing the city up to the current century in regards to a lot of things. I have a deep respect for climate and sea level rise in each of those items. And I think as cities as Fort Lauderdale and Hollywood and the city of Lake Worth, as we get ourselves, we're pulling ourselves out of a trench of being so behind, that getting to that level, everything that we do should be along the lines of putting the best possible product out there with respect to all of those items. And I think that we have. So I think we're all on the same page. How we describe it or how we get around to it may seem like it's coming from a different place, but I think we're actually all on the same page, and I'm pretty proud of that. I also want to mention to you too, one of the items that I know I mentioned it before, but I don't know if you were at that meeting, with the MPO, when you talk about this, the complete streets. One of the items that I've been working on is Dixie Highway from 10th Avenue North to 6th Avenue South. And that's what I've been working on MPO with, the coordination of plans, like you showed that plan, it just sparked my interest that plan is exactly what we're looking for to apply for a grant through the MPO. And that would incorporate to connect 95 down our main corridors and then connect us into the interior part of the city. So that's kind of exciting too, and I want to talk about that a lot as we get closer to that. Mr. Tim, in regards to the assessments, we've had that conversation a number of times. Glenn, I don't know, do you want to go back over that, or?
No, I think you're right. I mean, this has been discussed multiple times. The commission's made their position clear, public has made their position clear.
Okay. All right, then, if we could go, Commissioner Boyd, just want to follow up on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep it straight. I do appreciate Mayor and Commissioner Zerdy, the comments, and I think we have made some progress in the last months of trying to be a bit more aware of both, and that's why I showed some of the things that I did. Hollywood's not particularly conscious of or at least it wasn't aware of, or it wasn't apparent of climate change, sea level things, but they were very conscious of quality of life issues and really spelling out guidelines that everybody could see and get behind, and then that opening up funding possibilities. And I do recognize that Dixie and Federal is a little bit different. It's not part of the 2020 plan because they're not our roads, but I'm grateful that you're working with MPO on Municipal Planning Association or organization on those. I have followed, Commissioner Zerdy, for quite a while the efforts with the Park of Commerce, and you're quite right, Camp Dresser, McGree, in their plans for that, we're looking the same sort of logic, trying to build in some more sophisticated ways of dealing with stormwater runoff. My concern is that most of our plan, as I understand it, I'm always happy to be corrected, but as I understand it and what I see from what's on paper, we are basically taking up a road and putting it back about the same as it was. And that's the place where we're putting a lot of burden on the folks who run trucks and move cement and do all that stuff, and they don't think about, they do excellent jobs of making roads just like you had and putting them in good condition. And I agree with you, Mayor, that we need to pull ourselves up. My concern is that when you tear up a road and you're down to dirt, that's the time when the design process should have been kicked in long before that, so that when you rebuild that road, you say, you know what? This community actually doesn't want to have to come in a year later and put in traffic calming. Why don't we narrow that road a bit now, because that gives us a stormwater benefit? Or why don't we add some various ways of.
I agree with you, Commissioner Boyd, but I don't want to debate the plan right now, and this is not the forum to do so. If you want to talk about that last item, that's fine. I don't want to get into a debate about
I understand
the
that you
issue.
don't want to debate, but I would ask for a little bit of time in the sense that we are asking our community to spend $60 million.
Point of order, please.
And I feel we have a
Point of
duty.
order, Commissioner McVoy, point of order, please. Thank you, this is not
Up
the
to you.
time nor the place. We've had about 37,000 chances to talk about this, not today, thank you. Approval of the minutes, please. Second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Consent agenda, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor? Aye. Motion,
Aye.
motion carries unanimously. Public hearings, let's take a quick 5-minute break and we'll move on to public hearings. Sorry, William.